peeps, this is Kimberly Purpose and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing part two to this article that I was reading about the Native Americans were kept as slaves too. That's the title of the article and was published April 30th, 2016. And I was going to stroll on down to the part where we left off. I'm on the part, I believe I was on this paragraph. It says, according to one scholarly estimate, this act may have affected as many as 20,000 California Indians, including 4,000 children kidnapped from their parents and employed primarily as domestic servants and farm laborers. And wow. I thought this article was interesting because it goes into details as to how a lot of Native American Indians were also enslaved in the United States and how it was done on the west coast of the United States. Let's continue. Americans learned about this other slavery one state at a time. In New Mexico, James Calhoun, the first Indian agent of the territory, could not hide his amazement to the sophistication of the Indian slave market. Wow. See? Native Americans were being enslaved just like the Aborigines. The value of the captives depended upon age, sex, beauty, and youthfulness, wrote Calhoun. Good-looking females, not having passed the sear and yellow leaf, are valued $50 to $150 each. $50 to $150 each. Males, as they may be useful, one half less, never more. Wow. So I see how they do it. This is like human trafficking, just like this is equivalent to human trafficking. Yeah. Well, let's continue. It says Calhoun met many of these slaves and wrote pithy notes about them. Rubio Picarios, about 12 years age, take from a rancho near Santiago, state of Durango, Mexico, 2 years ago by Comanches, who immediately sold him to the Apaches. With them, he lived and roamed until January 1850. When he was bought by Jose Lucero, a New Mexican residing at the Morro. Wow. Okay, and then it goes on and gives another example. Theodore Martel, 10 or 12 years of age, was taken for service to Jose Valverde near Saltillo, Mexico, by Apaches 2 years ago, and was remained the greater portion of the time on the west side of the Rio de Norte. Wow. See, these are some of the examples of what was taking place. The slave trade that they was doing among the Indians was just, what they did to the Aborigines as well. It's human trafficking of the past, and it's wow. Let's continue. Americans settling the West did more than becomes familiar with this type of bondage. They became part of the system. Okay. Mormon settlers arrived in Utah in the 1840s looking for a promised land, only to discover that Indians and Mexicans had already turned the Great Basin into a slaving ground. The area was like a gigantic moonscape of bleached sands, salt flats, and mountain ranges inhabited by small bands no larger than extended families. See, wow, I didn't know all this was going on. See, you don't see this hardly in the history books. They always make it seem like the Mongoloid Indians was always free, but they were capturing them too and enslaving them like they did the Aborigines on the East Coast. It's no difference. They're doing the same exact thing. That is terrible. And I was looking at how they was capturing young children. See, they like to get them when they're real young, because the earlier the other paragraph, it mentions how they were they captured a 12-year-old. So they like to get them young like they were doing the Aborigines. But let's continue. It says Brigham Young and his followers later established themselves in the area, became the most obvious outlet for these captives. Hesitant at first, the Mormons required some encouragement from slavers who tortured children with knives or hot iron to call attention to their trade and elicit sympathy from potential buyers or threaten to kill any child who went unpurchased. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. See that I'm looking at how terrible they were. They was torturing the kids, and then they threaten to kill them if they don't get bought, making the buyers feel guilty and want to hurry up and buy the child. That's terrible. Wow. Oh, I didn't know all this was going on. Brigham Young's son-in-law, Charles Decker, witnessed the execution of an Indian girl before he agreed to exchange his gun for another captive. Wow. In the end, the Mormons became buyers and even fought a way to rationalize their participation in the human market. Oh, this is so sad. This is sickening. They did the same thing to Native Americans that they did Aborigines, and you'll never hear this. They try to paint a different picture. But see, let's skip on down. They showing more examples of what they did was kidnap the kids like they did the Aborigines. And here's a book. I guess this is a book that they recommend for more reading. It says The Other Slavery. See? The Uncovered Story of Indian Enslavement in America by Andres Resendez. See? I guess he wrote this book, and it might have been an excerpt from the book. But I'm going to have to check out this book. And see, that shows you that there's a lot of similarities between the Aborigines and the Native Americans. And if we was enslaved together, it made sense that they probably intermarried and had children together. And that's why you have the Afro, I believe that was Clyde Winters who mentioned Afro Native Indian. I think he called them Afro Indians or something to that effect. Indians, blacks who were mixed in with the Indians, or the Aborigines and the Mongol Indians that were mixed together to create us. But anyway, let's continue. Let's go on. At the beginning of this other slavery are lost in the midst of time. Native people such as Zamotecs, the Mayas, and Aztecs took captives to use as sacrificial victims. It requires wage campaigns called mourning wars on neighboring groups to avenge and replace their dead. And Indians in the Pacific Northwest, including male and female slaves as part of goods, sent by the groom to his bride's family to finalize marriage among the elite. Wow, they show how this was done among the indigenous people as well. That's quite interesting. I didn't know that. But it says here Native Americans had enslaved each other for millennia, but the arrival of Europeans' practice of captivity, originally embedded in specific cultural contexts, became commodified, expanded in unexpected ways, and came to resemble the kind of human trafficking that are recognized to us today. See, I like how he used the term human trafficking, and that is so true. The slave trade was nothing but modern day human trafficking. It's the past equivalency to what was going on with the Aborigines here in the United States, and also the Native Americans. The Aborigines was on the East Coast, and the Aborigines was sort of like in the Midwest and the West. Even though there were a few Aborigines, I believe, in California as well. But this is a long article. I'm going to have to stop right here. Please like this video, and don't forget to subscribe and visit my Teespring store. I have some t-shirts that I'm going to have available. This month is the Love t-shirt. It's available for sale. And don't forget to check out my books on Amazon.com. Age is Innocent is available, as well as Heal My Wings. Till next time, peace and be blessed. And bye-bye.